Try not to do that. I'm getting my yawns out now.
Oh no, it's okay. One of our sponsors, I was asking him the other day. I was like, "Do you know Torchy's Tacos?" Because he lives in Dallas, and he has
Uh,
a couple places in Houston and Austin. And he was like, "Yeah, I know Torchy's." And I was
that's
like,
funny. That's funny.
and he actually said like he's you guys have passed by one another a lot. His name's Dean Michael.
Dean Michaels. That name
Mm.
sounds familiar. What does he own or what does he do?
So he actually comes from a family trust, but he owns the company Line One Nutrition. I think their
Okay.
warehouse is out of Austin. You can't miss him because his big old freaking BMW GT. Um, he's that 50-year-old guy in the room that's in denial of ever aging, but
Oh,
is
I hear
super
you.
kind to everybody. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
We're live on YouTube,
has that Texas draw.
and
I
um,
hear you.
and we're recording, so all good. Let me make sure this thing's live on YouTube. Yeah, cool.
It looks like it says live on YouTube down there.
Right
Hmm.
on. Cool. All right. So, anyways, Michael, Alex, this is Mike Rypka. He's the guy that founded Torchy's Tacos. He's amazing Torchy taco inventor of all sorts, right? A damn good taco guy.
There you go.
But
Banging
anyways, it's
taco.
awesome. Regardless of that, so you know, let us know about yourself, man. Give us the story behind like how you got Torchy, how this all began in the first back before Torchies.
Well, so yeah, first off, hey, thank you guys for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to get asked to be on anything. It's fun to be on here, and hopefully we'll have some good, fun conversation. And hopefully
No,
we
all
get some
bad
good viewers
conversation.
on there. That's right. Uh, anyways, yeah. So I have always, I'm a chef by trade, and I've always been
Mm.
pretty passionate around food. I even, I don't remember this, but apparently when I was 5 years old, I asked for a kitchen for Christmas. One of those toy kitchens.
Wow.
So I guess it's always kind of been in my blood without me even knowing it. And my first real restaurant job, I was a fry cook at Popeye's Fried Chicken, and kind of
Mm.
worked there for a while. Then I worked as a busser, dishwasher, and a line cook at a breakfast place. And then went and worked at a country club, and that was in Northern Virginia, right outside of DC. That's where I grew up, and that's where I kind of fell in love with food. And I decided, hey, I think I might want to go to culinary school. And then I sort of reconsidered it and was like, well, I don't know, man. It's a lot of hours. Restaurants are hard, and so I said, well, maybe I like to help people, so maybe I, would go be a counselor or something. So I went to school to start that, and I literally woke up about halfway through the semester in the middle of the night and was like, had this epitome of like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, you should be a chef, and this is not, you're not on the right path. You need to be doing what you're passionate about. And so I couldn't go back to bed that night, and I had gotten some pamphlets from different culinary schools, and I, broke those out and I was looking at all of them. I came down the next morning. I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm dropping out of school and I'm going to go to culinary school. And she said, no, you're not. and so I so we talked about it, and she's like, look, just finish your semester and we'll go look at them. And so I did. And I ended up, going to cooking school, and that was down in Miami. It's actually where me and Andy met way back in the
I was about
day.
to say, yeah.
And a mutual friend, Torres, that we both know. And we had a blast down there, and I worked all over the place and worked at a bunch of different restaurants and doing stuff. And my career progressed. I had my first chef job where I was executive chef at the World Bank in DC, and then I went from there to LA. I was executive chef at MTV and Disney Animation, and also a regional chef for the company I worked for, and helped a lot of other chefs with a lot of different kind of cultural cuisine and stuff like that. And then I got a call from a buddy that I'd worked at with the World Bank, and he's like, "Hey, we got this great job opportunity. It's down in Houston. It's at this place called Enron." And we all know how that ended. I was I served the Last Supper, at Enron,
Dang, man.
literally the Last Supper, and
That's pretty
so
cool to
I was
say,
only
though.
there. I was only in Houston for about 6 months, and the company I worked for said, "Hey, we got an opportunity for you in Austin, Texas, at Dell Computers." So I ran all the food service at Dell, and did that for about 2.5 years. And then went and did like a consulting project for a company called Chewy's, which is based out of Texas as well. And they had a new restaurant concept they were trying to open on the lake, and I came in and did the menu, and I was there for about 2 years, and I'd been wanting to do my own thing, and was just sort of I was tired of working for the man,
There it is.
and I was 30, 31, and I wasn't married, didn't have kids, and I was like, man, if I'm going to do it, I need to do it now.
Mhm.
And so I had a buddy of mine who was actually a landscape architect, a good friend of mine. His name was Bill, and he had this old barbecue trailer that he'd gotten from his grandfather, and he was trying to sell it. And back then, like food trucks and trailers and stuff, they were not the cool hip thing.
Mm.
um, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about opening a taco truck?" And I was like, "Dude, you're nuts. Like, what are you talking about? We're in Austin. There's so many tacos. You can throw a tennis ball and hit 5 taco places." And so we kept talking about it. And so I did a little food tour and sort of traveled all around Texas and different parts, and realized, well, yeah, there was a lot of tacos. They were all sort of the same. Like they all kind of had, some sort of protein, and usually they were garnished with like cilantro and onions, and maybe one or two sauces, and some of them had cheese, some of them didn't, and they were kind of basic, just
Thanks,
sort of
cookie cutter.
Mexican street style tacos. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's great Mexican street style tacos. And so I thought, like, well, what if we could take sort of this premise of, this Mexican street style taco, and kind of flip it on its head and just do something really fun, and bring, kind of my culinary talents and all my background from, serving all these different cuisines, and knowing how to use different spices and everything else, and just kind of make tortilla the base, and just have fun with what's in it. Um, Kind of respect those roots from that Central American culture of the taco, and but then add to it and kind of do my own twist on it. And so I took a mortgage out on my house and maxed out my credit cards, and 4 months later I was up in business, and started Torchy's August 1st, 2006.
Love
Nice.
that. Love hearing that. Love hearing that. And so, like, can you, because uh, back in the day when I wasn't a personal trainer, I helped open up a restaurant. And I don't know if people know how hard it is to open up a restaurant.
That's
Can you,
very hard.
yeah, can you, like,
That's
talk about just, I mean, let alone the fear? Because it's like a day without a customer is like a day with a thunderstorm, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so like, what was all going just in like the 30 days of your first restaurant? What was all going down?
Well, so it was a trailer, and again, like, first off, like, trailers were not, we, US didn't have this like cool hip, you know, taco truck trailer kind of thing going on. We were one of the first really in the US to kind of do it. They had started doing some stuff up in Portland, I think, probably within that year, around the same time that we started.
Mhm.
And you know, so it was, I mean, people thought of trucks and trailers as kind of like either carny food or like, you know, the guys that show up at construction sites and, you know, peddle tacos out the back of their truck and sell to construction workers. And that was about the extent of it. And so, you know, here we were like, you know, trying to find a cool space, which we found, and over on South First here in Austin, and I had all these like live oak trees and you know, a cool little parking lot. It was right next to Bolden Creek, so that you had the creek in the background. And but it was not like, you know, people weren't just going to stop in and eat at a food truck. And so
Right.
you know, the other thing is I didn't have a business plan. I didn't have all this extra money,
You
and
just went
so
after it.
I just went after it. I think the first day I did like $200 and probably 150 of it was like my friends that just came down to like kind of give me some support.
Yeah.
And so I had this red Vespa that I had bought about a year before that. And I put you know, one of those kind of big delivery bags on the back of it. And I started just handing out free chips and salsa to anybody that would take it from me.
So you had like your
And
Santa sleigh and your
say
red.
what?
You had your like Santa sleigh, a red
Yeah,
Vespa
just
with a big bag on the back of it.
just about. And so I went door to door to, you know, anything from office buildings to dental offices to, um, you know, galleries to, you know, any business I could, you know, stick my head in. And I just, you know, hey, you want some free chips and salsa? My name's Mike. I own Torchys. We're down the street. Come check us out. And so we, you know, because we couldn't really get people to come to the trailer, you know, we did a lot of deliveries on the Vespa in the beginning. And you know, so people would call in and you know, but dude, it was stressful, man. I mean, I probably worked 100 hours a week, probably my
That's
first 2 years in
Yep.
business. And when I
Yep.
say 100 hours a week, I'm not kidding. Like I got started at 5 a.m. and ended at midnight, 7 days a week. And I did that for probably the first 2 years I was in business.
The
And
determination.
where was it where like I'm not gonna say where you thought, oh, I can slow down here a little bit, but where you were doing that 7 days a week, just all day and night, where you were like, oh, I'm finally getting traction. Because like a lot of entrepreneurs, they'll stop right before you know something big happens for them.
So you know, it was like, so it went from like, you know, hardly anybody coming to making like 100, $200 a day if we were lucky, sometimes 300 or 400 if, you know, maybe something weird happened that day. To then, you know, so then, you know, I started, you know, kind of reaching out to some old people. So there's a thing here called Lake Austin Riverboats, and they do tours on the lake. And so I reached out to them and was like, hey man, if you know you ever need another option for like fajita buffets or something, like I'd be happy to cater and do the boats. And so I started getting orders from them, and you know, that was a huge help because it'd be like for 50 or 100 people at a time. You know, I wasn't getting a lot, but it was enough to like have a decent amount of infusion of cash on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and really, we got, you know, and it was weird. Like we get these little things. We get like a little catering, or you know, an office would all of a sudden decide, hey, let's feed everybody Torchy's for breakfast. And, you know, I'd have like a big delivery for like, you know, 60 tacos or 100 tacos.
Uh,
And just these little tiny miracles that would happen, you know, every, you know, once a week or every couple weeks or whatever. And it was just enough to where it was like, God, I don't know if I'm going to make payroll, something would happen. And
Dang.
we got our first write up in the Austin Chronicle, and I want to say it was like March or late February of 2007. So we'd been open for about a, you know, almost a year. And that was a game changer. You know, we got the article came out in the paper, and that weekend we just got packed and people were showing up all over the place. Luckily we were on a good, fairly busy street.
Right.
And, it's when you think about sort of your life patterns, I mean, think about how many times you drive by a restaurant. Maybe you think about like, oh, I've never been to that place. And you just don't go, not because you've heard anything bad about it. It's just not in your routine, right? Like someone has to invite you, or there has to be something intriguing that would make you go over there and check it out. Or you finally just get fed up and say, screw it, I'm going to go check that place out. And so that write up really helped people that had been passing us a bunch. They'd read about it in the paper and said, and then so the word of mouth started catching. And we just continually got busier and busier and busier. And I think probably after those 2 years, it's like, and that's what happens with entrepreneurs. Like you go from just completely working your ass off and having, kind of doing it all yourself, to getting people on board, hiring people. They still need lots of training, and, they need to know like how you want things and why you want them that way. And then all of a sudden it's like, now you're kind of in a space of like, okay, I've hired these people. Now I actually got to let them do their job. Like I can step away for a couple hours and then maybe come back, And so it was a little bit at a time as I started to let go.
Right.
And I have a curious question as far as like marketing goes, because I think this is how supermarkets market. There's this idea that you have to, you have to stop by a supermarket 3 times before it becomes like ingrained into you. And so it's like that idea, like you'll go down the freeway, and I wish I could remember what the theory is actually called, but you can go down the freeway and you'll pass like a Ralph's and an Albertsons, right? Just to get to your Stater Brothers that you really like, or your Joey's Marketplace, because that's the place that you go to.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that same thing with restaurants? And if so, like, how do you play into that?
Yeah. So for me, it was a lot about just, I gave away tons of free food in the beginning. I was like, if I can get them to try it, then hopefully they'll come back and buy it. And so even today, we still, like, if we open a new restaurant, like we do we give away a bunch of free food like the first week or two before we actually open the doors. And so a lot of it's just, getting people to try the product. And then two, obviously you got to deliver a good product when they do purchase it, and then give them a great experience. And then hopefully they come back. Luckily, Austin's a very supportive town of like local businesses. And so I think a lot of people, they're really prone to say, hey, you got to check out this new place over here, and go check it out. And people really support that. So that's been really helpful. And I think for me, it's more like just word of mouth, like really getting that customer bought in. And if they have a great experience and great food, they're going to tell their buddies about it.
And come back, repeat business.
Yeah.
And how is that conversation with your family? Like I know as entrepreneurs, all 3 of us, that's always a weird conversation, especially in the beginning. I mean, you didn't have anybody go, Mike, come on now. You just got a mortgage on your house. You maxed out those credit cards. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? You're 30 years old.
Yeah. I had lots of people tell me that. And I have lots of people that regret that they didn't invest. And yeah, people thought they were like, dude, you're a chef and you're going to open a trailer. What are you doing? Now that's like the cool hip thing to do, right? Like a lot of chefs do that, and it's great. But it was not, like I said, it was not in society's norm yet. So I was taking a big risk. But when you're passionate about something and you love what you're doing, like you have to do it. And it doesn't really matter what other people think or say. At least in my case, it didn't. And I was just like, man, if it falls on my face, then it does, and if not, then great. At least whatever the outcome is, I don't want to be on my deathbed and regret like, hey, I didn't take that chance and do something that I really wanted to do and didn't do it out of fear.
Do you still have like the trucks? I mean, obviously like a fleet of trucks or something now that that's like kind of a thing.
Yeah, we had the original trailer that's parked outside of our office. We've used that for different things. For a good while, we were using it for like new managers. They would come in and actually cook in the trailer, just so they could get the experience of what it was like to, you know, be in the trailer in the early days. And like, hey, you got this big badass restaurant now, but we started in this humble spot. And then we had another trailer that we had open, and they're both retired. They're not in business anymore. We just have all brick and mortars now. But we got a big badass taco truck that does big events, so people can rent it out. We've done weddings with it. We've done, since Coronaville's been around, we've been doing feeding first responders, nurses and doctors and stuff. We showed up to some hospitals and giving away tacos.
Right.
We'll take it to, grand openings. So we use it for a lot of marketing and events.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
Then cruise
Yeah.
around giving it to like the doctors and stuff like that, right? During this.
Yeah, that's what we've been doing as of late.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, okay, you guys got to explain to me this because I feel like the odd man out. Two things. One, who told you to have that painting? Two, how did you guys meet? Or this way, sorry, how did you guys meet? Because
What
that's
was
an
the first
interesting
question?
painting.
Oh,
The first
behind me?
yeah, behind you.
It's actually not a painting. So I found this
I knew
up in
it. I knew it
Colorado.
wasn't really a painting.
And it's carved wood, that
That's
it's
awesome.
an artist from Spain or Italy, I think. I forget his name, but he takes pieces of wood and stains them and then compresses them all together and then carves them out and sands them down, so you get all these different textures and colors. And
Wow.
then cuts them into strips and puts them together. It really spoke to me when he does these, and a lot of different shapes and colors and stuff. But it was beautiful.
That's
Yeah, it's just really unique. That's why I like it. Almost looked like window blinds, but like smashed together. But it didn't look like the same material. Yeah, but it didn't look like the same material.
Yeah, it's a bunch of pieces of compressed wood that he compressed together, and he stains every individual layer and then sands and carves them out. So it's
That
pretty
is
badass.
so cool, man. That is so cool.
Uh,
Okay, and then the
and
story
then
on you guys.
and then me and Andy, we met through a mutual friend. His name's we call him Torres. His name's Michael, and we met down in Miami. And I don't remember how you and Michael met, but that's how I met Andy.
Yeah.
And we used to hang out and go to clubs together and stay up till 6 in the morning.
Dang.
Yeah,
And
man,
you were a
we
chef
were
at this
living
time?
we were living that Miami nightlife, man. We were having a good time.
That was back before
Dang,
it got
man.
super touristy and you can't walk and do anything now.
Yeah, I know.
Ah.
I
We had
know.
the hookup to go in the clubs. It was fun.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
That's
yeah.
pretty
Andy,
great. Okay, so
You were still a photographer back then, right? You were doing like
I was
model
shooting.
sets and stuff.
Yeah, I was shooting back then also still.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, that's where it all started pretty much, is in Miami. And
yeah.
then
That was like mid-90s when we met.
yeah.
So
And
yeah,
then
we've
wow,
known each
man.
other a long time.
There's
so
something to say about that, man. That's awesome. That's like friendship on another level. Just like you look at life, and I mean we're all guys here, but you look at life and you see everything that you've I guess grown, especially in your case, man. How many restaurants do you have, Michael?
We've got 72 restaurants right now.
Okay, 72. So what?
Oh, let that guy in.
Who is that?
I think I have a special guest. Hold on. Did it
All
click?
right.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. I know. I was like, yo,
Oh, here we go.
yo.
This guy.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? Hey, it's Wednesday. I'm ready. I'm ready for my little
Yeah. That was next next week. American Mike.
No, it's hump day. It's today, remember?
No. Next hump day.
Oh.
Next.
Michael, what's going on? What's going on,
Hey,
Michael?
wait a minute, that's that one taco guy. That's that Torchy guy. Is that guy?
Oh, this
So
guy.
awesome.
What's up, brother?
Wow. Hey man, you're like a celebrity out there. I love your tacos. They're great.
Thanks, brother.
I love this
How you
guy.
doing,
You
man?
know what?
Next Wednesday, not this.
I've been hearing about your
I love
tacos
this
for a
guy.
long time. And the funny thing is, I used to call them Torchys. I don't know why I call them Torchys. It's like a little tiki torch in your tummy. Those are good, man.
Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it.
I love them. You know what's funny? I used to eat that lean cuisine thing for a long time, and I tried one of your tacos, and I guess I must have put too many jalapenos on it. It's like hell's bells. It's hot. Those are hot, man.
That's right. That's right. Old Alex is dying over there.
I am, because I can't tell if this is a joke or not. And either way, it's awesome.
No, you keep doing your thing, man. I tell you, because those things, people love them down here. Down south, we love them. Down here, I guess they used to call, we had like an In-N-Out. Do you know In-N-Out? Do you know him? You guys
I don't
should
know
merge.
him. I know the restaurant.
You guys should merge, man. Like make it a special thing. And I was thinking you should have like an all-you-can-eat, like what they call a buffet. A buffet. Call it the Torchy's Tuesdays.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
That'd be neat. I'd be there every day, man. Every day. Every day that
I hear
ends
you.
with a Y. And that's every day.
There you go.
All right, American Mike, we gotta go. You're next week.
Okay, well, hey, I'll see
All
you
right.
next Wednesday instead,
Next
okay?
hump day, not this
Okay,
hump day.
buddy.
All right.
Take care, brother.
I love that guy. I freaking love that guy. He just like came in like the wedding
Sorry about
roses.
Wrong day.
That's funny.
All right, so now you gotta tell Alex about Torchy's tacos. Give him the lowdown since he's never had one, and now he's hyperventilating. So
Yeah. What do you want to know, man? I can tell you anything.
tell him about your favorite the #1 best tacos, and
You don't want me asking questions. This will turn into a therapy session.
There you go. Bring it. I'm down.
Yeah. All right. So I'm a young guy, and I love learning. I love learning from those who have gone, done through it, and done it again. That's what I'm fascinated by. And we're in a situation right now. Sorry, felt like I had an eyelash. We're in a situation right now where, and I've said this to Andy a lot. I'm like, we're in a situation where everything becomes really crystal clear, really, really fast. And so I guess a good question right now would to be like, going through this, how do you stay up? Ironically, that's the name. And when has your plans for either expansion or whatever's coming next in your career or in the ownership of Torchys gone up? Has it gone sideways? Like, what is your plans been like, man?
Like, as it relates to Corona?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Well, it's obviously been something super unprecedented that, everybody's just kind of caught off guard by this whole thing. It put the smackdown on us, in the beginning, but we've slowly been kind of creeping back up, going back up, and we're surviving. We're not making money yet, but we're hanging in, we're paying our bills, we're staying on top of it. We had to lay off a ton of people. We had to close 10 of our 72 restaurants. You know, all the other ones went to curbside and delivery. And it's been crazy, to be honest with you. So it's definitely going to affect our growth. Um, we have about 4 or 5 stores that were under construction and pretty much finished when this all hit. So we kind of have to open those up just because they're just sitting there. They're already built. They're ready to go. And it'll also help us get some more folks back to work as well. But it's definitely, it's definitely had us thinking about, the future and what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. I think the big sort of question right now is, how does this virus kind of play out? Like, do we end up getting shut down again? If that happens, that's gonna,
Right.
affect things a certain way. Or is it just, it's things are gonna open and just kind of creep along for another year or so until they get a vaccine or some sort of treatment for it, to where people feel confident, like congregating in groups and doing all the things that they love and, miss doing. So there's a lot of uncertainty. But the good thing about us is, we have values in our company. They're called Torch. So
I like that.
tenacity, originality, respect, community, and honor.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the values that we have in our company that, we got bought in from everybody down from the dishwasher all the way up to me. And that, we've had a ton of tenacity and originality and just really a lot of respect for each other and our customers and just the safety and health of, everybody involved. And so we've been able to think on our feet and get real creative. I mean, I've got, we also do like a managing partner program with what a lot of people would call general managers. They're managing partners, so they actually write a check to come work for us, and they share in the profits of the restaurant. So it's kind of like an internal franchise system, if you will. So like we don't franchise to people, but they write a check, they buy in, they sign a contract with us. And they have to work in that restaurant for 3 years. And, so they're totally bought in. And
Huh.
so they've just been like, I mean, they've been setting up like makeshift drive-throughs and parking lots and, all kinds of stuff just to make it easier for guests to feel safe coming and ordering our food. We did, and most of where we're at, we were able to do alcohol to go. So we came up with these really cool like margarita kits and stuff that people could buy. We did a bunch of these like family packs. So, you could feed a family of 4 for like $25, which is, affordable and, a good value. And so we just done a lot of things to, and the cool thing about it for me as the founder is like, not that you ever want, people to suffer or you want your
Mm.
staff to have to go through hard times, but it's really, it's kind of like, hey, everyone, we've got all these new people. They came into like a company that was real prosperous, doing really well. And now they're having to sort of face some adversity. And it's been really amazing watching them sort of rise to the occasion and basically kind of be faced with a lot of the same challenges I was faced with starting the company of like, how do you get creative? How do you get people in the door? How do you work through adversity on something that's kind of out of your control and still survive and still get on the other side of it? So it's just been a really cool experience, and we're, like I said, we're hanging in. We're doing good.
That's
That's
really
awesome.
cool. I like your
Yeah.
whole like morals there, but also that buy-in thing is like it's like you're buying in like stock wise, but you're actually buying in and then working and being part of the company, which is awesome.
Yeah, and so what it does is it really it it makes them, they're putting something on the line, right? Like they're writing a physical check, and it's that old saying, put your money where your mouth is. It's like you do that, and so it gets great buy-in. They really care about what goes on in the stores. It also sort of, one of the things we were struggling with early on, which was a good struggle, like we were growing, but like everybody was wanting like that next position, and
Right.
and this sort of allows people to like, okay, I can do really well. I can hang out in my restaurant. I can perfect it. I can get a great staff. I can get really good systems in place, and I can build a team and stay here and make a great living and not have to be worried about like getting the next promotion or doing this or doing that. And so it's been a really good thing that we've done.
Damn, that's awesome. I didn't even know about any of that. I don't even know if anybody knows about any of that. That's
What?
cool. I've never even heard of something like that.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, there's some companies that do it out there. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and just sort of really didn't know how to make the numbers work on it. And we hired a CEO about 2 years ago. His name's GJ Hart. He's been awesome. And he had done it in a previous concept that he worked. And so we got together. It was one of the first things we talked about. And, he was able to, because he had experience with it, able to figure out how we could implement it. And so it's been great.
that's
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's super
So,
cool. Did you get the guy from California Pizza Kitchen to work with you guys?
Yeah, and before that, he was at Texas Roadhouse, and then what's funny is, and before that, he was at Copeland's, which owns Popeyes. So
really?
yeah, he was in Louisiana, and he kind of started working and really getting into his food career. He worked at like some chicken production places, and he kind of worked his way all the way up, and then got into restaurants, and he's got tons of experience and just a great guy overall.
Hmm.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
And you're
freaking cool.
going
Yeah,
to,
that really is.
you said you're going to, you're opening up once things pass and it gets better to Louisiana, right?
Yep. We actually have one store that's open there now. It's in Shreveport.
Hmm.
And we're just doing curbside and delivery. And I think they're about to start opening the dining rooms if they haven't done it this week, next week. And so yeah, things are chugging along. I think this whole thing is really tricky. There's just a lot of people with a lot of different views on this,
Right.
and instead of it being a public health thing, it's kind of almost turned into political, which kind of sad and sucks. So there's just a lot of people with a lot of different views out there, and that's one thing I've been really preaching to my company is just look, like these are unprecedented times. Let's be real. Let's be real respectful of people, and know that not everybody feels the same about this. Some people could care less, don't want to wear a mask, are ready to get around a bunch of people. Other people want nothing to do with it and think we should be locked down for the next year until there's a cure. So and then everything in between, right? So
Yeah.
the important thing is just really kind of respecting those opinions, and especially as a restaurant, like our job is just to do the best we can with what we know, and we're following all the guidelines that the CDC recommends and doing our best, and that's it.
It sounds like you're going kind of above and beyond, and then you're also helping the communities as well.
That's
Yeah, I mean,
important.
that's kind of what we do, man. I mean, it's been that way from the beginning. I mean, that's another thing that, like, feels good as being an entrepreneur, is just you know, when you start something and you give your heart and soul to it, right? Like the thing people get scared of the most is like, oh man, you don't want to lose that passion and you don't want to lose kind of that essence of how and why you started. And we've been very, very thoughtful around that, especially as we've grown and have invested, you know, tons of money and tons of hours and tons of training just around the culture and the people to make sure that, you know, we keep doing those things that we've done since the beginning, so that, you know, we don't lose that culture and we don't lose like what's important. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about you know, serving a damn good taco and giving a great experience and clean restaurant, man. It's pretty simple, you know.
That's awesome. And
Mhm.
you're doing okay personally over there? You just hanging, doing your thing, or
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm on a bunch of these Zoom meetings, you know, doing everybody's in Zoom land, which has been kind of
He
crazy.
said Zoom land.
Yeah. But you know, it's all good. I mean, I get out in nature and just you know, I've had a friend or two come over here and there,
yeah.
just to get a little bit of social interaction. Yeah, I'm taking my kid. I'm gonna go to the beach and go camping this weekend just to kind of get out and do something different. So yeah, we're just moving along, and you know, it's yeah, I've been single through this whole thing, which has been a little interesting. That's always a little bit of a challenge, and you know, the grass is always greener on the other side, right? Yeah, I know some couples that are about tired of each other because they've been stuck with each
Well, that'll
other.
be good for you after this is over, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, but it's been good. You know, I think, you know, I think it's affected a lot of us in a lot of different ways. In some ways, it's forced me to slow down, which has been good. So I've been taking care of myself a little more, getting more exercise in, eating better,
Mm.
that kind of thing. I'm, you know, not as busy as I was sort of pre-corona, and you know, so it's good, man. It's, you know,
So,
I
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, my hope is that, you know, us as a community, a society, that we come out of this and you know, some good things come out of this. You know, I mean, I don't. Who knows what that's going to look like, but hopefully, there's some good, great stuff that comes out of this.
Yeah, amen to that one.
Absolutely.
So, all right, so let's get into some good stuff, some visually good stuff. All right, first off, you said you were making this taco for Louisiana the other day, and you're
Yeah.
describing this thing, and you were in some kitchen. You called it some sort of kitchen. So, do you guys have like a creation kitchen that you guys go to, and you just like, kind of hash it out, or
Yeah, we call it. It's like our R&D kitchen. It's also where we do like a lot of our prep for like events and things like that. And that's it's a little bit outside of Austin. It's kind of in this big warehouse. Um, and yeah, that's where we, you know, that's where we test new products. That's where we come up with recipes. If we're gonna change, you know, we'll look at, you know, sometimes you look at backup products like, hey, if something happened and we couldn't get this certain cheese, like what could we use to replace it that would still do what we needed to do? Or different cuts of beef, chicken, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we do a lot of that there, and yeah, we just, you know, they one of the things some of the managers wanted and the marketing partners wanted in Louisiana was sort of a Cajun taco, and so we kind of I said, all right, I took it as a challenge and kind of put on my thinking cap, my inspiration cap, and you know, one thing I've noticed, especially at least as it relates to Torchies, is we really try to come from an inspired place, especially when we're making big decisions or coming out with new food. And if it's something that's super complicated that, you're trying, and it's just not working, like I usually give up on those things and just say, okay, we'll just throw it to the side and maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't. And so, yeah, this Cajun taco, I first recipe and I nailed it. Everybody loved it. I loved it. And it's something actually we've talked about for a while. Even before we even knew we were going to be in Louisiana, it's a taco we've been and just never could quite get it there. And so it was right place, right time, and just the right thought came to my mind, and we got a badass Cajun taco now.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
And then now describe the trashy taco or whatever.
The signature taco.
Yeah, it's our #1 seller. It's called the Trailer Park. So it's
Where's
comes on a
American
flour
Mike
tortilla.
when you need him?
I know, right?
I know, right?
Comes on a flour tortilla. We have roasted New Mexico green chilies on there. Hand battered fried chicken. It comes with lettuce, pico de gallo, cheddar and jack cheese, and then we put this creamy poblano sauce on it. And super good taco. Really, really just savory. Kind of hits all the senses. Crispy, crunchy, sweet, a little sour. And then if you can get it trashy, you take off the lettuce and we pour queso all over it.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I'm
So
gonna have
it's
some
good.
tacos tonight. You know that, right?
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know where I'm gonna find good tacos, but
Gotta go. Mike, send me some tacos. What you want to mail to? Yes, I want to mail
oh yeah,
them
you
like
should mail.
overnight.
You should ship tacos. I wonder if you can do like ship
Dude, it
Ship
just
tacos?
Yeah, man, I
wouldn't hold.
can get
Yeah,
crab.
see, he's like,
Close to be able to get Torchy's tacos. It's not that far away.
come
Yeah,
to California is what he's saying.
yeah, I know. One of these days we'll be out there. One of these days.
Oh man,
That's
this has
freaking
been awesome, man. Do you have anything else to say to the Stay Up Network's viewers and everybody else that and check this out?
Yeah, I think mainly, a lot of people will ask me, about business or wanting to start something. And my big thing is, no matter what you do, whether you start a business or pick a career, like, do something you're passionate about, because you're gonna, if you think about it, even if you just work a 40-hour week job, you spend most of your time at work versus doing anything else. So do something you're passionate about and don't worry about the money so much, and just do something that you're going to enjoy and love to do, and the money will come. You may not be rich or the next Bill Gates or whatever, but you'll make enough that you can survive and pay your bills. And if you do something you're really passionate about, it's one of those things that you could do it whether they paid you or didn't pay you. So that's always my big thing. And I'm just real grateful that I was able to find a passion first off, and able to go out and do it. And I think that was the thing that drove me early on, and still drives me today, is just being passionate about what I'm doing. And it helped me take those steps that you may not do if you weren't passionate about it, man. I mean, that's hard work. And if you're not passionate about something, it's sort of easy to give up on it, if you're not really behind it and believe in it.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for that, Mike. That's really appreciative, especially right now, just with everything going on. I mean, you're so like level-headed and key with it. It's like you're like, we're gonna get through this, and there's gonna be grass on the other side. We just got to get to the grass.
Yeah.
That's cool. At least you're doing good, man. It's good to see you on here. And thanks so much for coming on this and helping me get this.
Yeah, really. Thank you.
Network's going.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hopefully we got some good viewers. Are you able to see the viewers on there or no? I guess they don't. It's not like Instagram where they comment and stuff.
they come in and out, you know, and then we promote it like crazy, and we'll stick it out there. I'm sure it's gonna hit some good views over the next
Cool.
course of the week, and we'll get it out there in the channels. So
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Torchies for life.
Whole objects to keep everybody up.
Damn good, bitches. Damn good.
Hey, all right, yo, Mike, on your ending here, you gotta hit me with something strong that's like your Torchy line. Like, sell me a taco. I want to see you sell me a taco here.
Sell you a taco? Oh shit, man.
Sell me a taco. Yeah. Come on now.
Right, let me think about it. Well, all right. So one of my favorite tacos is our Baja shrimp taco, which I freaking love. Okay. Actually, we got written up in some magazines for that one. We've been written up about a lot of stuff on our tacos, but yeah, Baja shrimp, man. It's a lightly battered shrimp. It comes with a cooked cabbage slaw. So it's got a little bit of crispness to it, but with some heat. And then we've got these pickled onions on there that we do in-house that gives you some sweet and a little bit of sour. And it comes with a creamy chipotle sauce on it with some cotija cheese, which is like crack. And this is a damn good taco, man. I love that taco. And that's another one that just sort of came to me and one recipe and I got it. And our queso, man, if you've never had Torchy's queso, I mean, still today, dude, I mean, I created the damn thing and I still cannot, if I get a bowl of queso in front of me, I can't stop eating it unless someone physically takes it away from me or the bowl's completely gone. So we got some damn good green chili queso.
When I went there with Torres, he was like, "Oh, just get one. We'll split it." And I think we went back up there and kept getting it. And the guys at the front were like, "Oh, Rypka, all right, no problem." I was like, "I gotta stop eating this. We gotta get out of here, man."
I know Torres was doing some name dropping, wasn't he? I know he was.
Yeah, we rolled up in there and we got hooked up. We were like kings. This is the best day.
That's awesome.
That's Obama that went in there. It was like really the next best thing that happened to the place.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah, Obama came to our original brick and mortar location in Austin. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. That's freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, that was a big day for Torchys for sure. Having a president come.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, all right.
Yeah,
Torchys is up there. It might be good.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't play around, man. Have you tried it yet, Alex, or not?
I have not, sir. I have not.
You need to get your ass to Austin, man, and come eat some damn tacos.
I want to hear that. I want to hear that.
I'll send your ass home full. How about that?
Hey, all right. Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Into his personal training.
There you go.
Yeah, right. I'm going to be in there with a taco, be like, work out.
That's right. Yeah. You need to work out.
Sounds good. Yeah, man.
It's good
awesome.
shit. It's good shit. Yeah.
All right.
That's
awesome,
I got a taco. Thank you so much for coming on here, man, and doing this.
All right, guys.
Hopefully
good to see y'all.
We can get all the guys and do it on the Zoom thing one of these days. This weekend.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That
sounds good.
Awesome.
All right, fellas.
All right, fellas. Peace out, man. Y'all be good. Okay. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Bye-bye.